What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Koppai Podcast, episode 78. I am one of your hosts, Cast and Risk, joined alongside Mr. Koppai himself, Zach Risk.
Thank you so much for listening to our podcast.
Oh, man. Today we're going to be doing our spoiler cast for Super Mario Odyssey. And so if you have not beat the main campaign for Super Mario Odyssey, then go ahead and bounce out and check out last week's episode.
No, stick around.
Yeah, no, if you want to have it all ruined, just go ahead and stick around. No. You don't want to have this experience ruined for you, and we don't have time to dilly or dally, so we're going to get straight into discussion about really anything in the game. And so if you don't really mind spoilers, I guess like Zach said, you can go ahead and stick around. But if you want to avoid having any of that stuff spoilered, go check out episode 77 where we talk about our initial impressions of the game without spoiling anything, too detailed. And if you don't want to even have that, or if you already listened to episode 77, go back and listen to episode 76 where we talk about something else. And if you have already listened to that, go back until you found an episode that you haven't listened to. And if you've listened to every episode of Koppai Podcast, or you don't want to listen to ones that where we talk about, what's the NX, then go ahead and maybe just go outside. Maybe, I guess you can't mow lawns, but maybe
Our Mario Maker night.
our first episode. Maybe just go shovel some snow or mow some lawns and make some money for a Switch and some Odyssey because you're going to want to play it so you can come back to this episode later. And yeah, so that's our introduction and our spoiler warning because as I said, and as you'll see in the title of this episode, this is our Super Mario Odyssey spoiler cast. Now, if you're still worried maybe you're still hanging around but you're a little timid, we won't be getting into deep, heavy post-game stuff. We'll be touching a little bit on what you see immediately at the start of the post-game, a little bit of features of the post-game, but we're going to try to save that for maybe even later and just kind of focus on the core game as a whole and then just dibble and dabble in what we find out and all that. So
yes.
So with all that being said, Zach, last night, or was it this morning, you beat the game?
Yeah, early this morning. Technically, I guess this morning, but it was last night, before bed.
Before you got tuckered out. And I don't know when. Let me look back at my little photo album here. I don't know if it has dates next to when you take a photo. But let me go back here. Oh, the thank you for playing slide. Does it not say? Oh, October 31st. So Halloween. On Halloween, I beat the game at 1:18 a.m. Thank you for playing, and then, you can now travel to the Mushroom Kingdom, which is the big, surprise at the end of the game, unless you find that painting in the Luncheon Kingdom, and then, I explored the Mushroom Kingdom and did all that. I think still, let me check, still, so 1:30, I'm in Peach's Castle, and then I waited till the next day to play anymore, so, but yeah, so I beat it on Halloween night. I think I actually had the goal to beat the game before October was over. It was my mindset. I need to play to beat it before. Although I guess if it was Halloween or the 31st at 1 a.m., that means it was probably not necessarily Halloween night. It was the night before Halloween, All Hallows Eve.
Yeah, well, you ended up kind of doing something a little bit different where, I made sure I strictly was trying to find every single coin before I moved on, and then when you found the painting, the Mushroom Kingdom, you were just I'm out of here. I'm going to find that place.
I have all the coins and tons of the moons for every kingdom except for once Luncheon Kingdom hits, and I found that Mushroom Kingdom painting and knew that there is the Mushroom Kingdom to go play in and explore and discover. I was like, no.
So I think that's primarily one of the big reasons for why I finished just last night and you finished a week ago, because I was until I got to Bowser's Kingdom, that's when I have I think 6 or 7 coins left there, and then I was I had to go to I went to turn in my stars like I usually do, and he wouldn't let me just keep exploring the kingdom. He was we gotta go to the moon. And so we head to the moon, and once I got there, it was kind of we're all floating around. It's really super cool. And then I went back to Bowser's, and I hardcore searched the place down, and I just cannot find these final coins. And it's it's so regimented in this kind of island system that final kingdom there. Where I mean, if you hit all those, I mean, there's maybe a lightning little electricity thing to go somewhere else to one of those hidden ones, but I pretty much like painstakingly searched this place, so I don't know what's
That was
going
my way
on.
with New Donk City.
Um,
Yeah, I could not find him. But
I mean, probably inevitably, I haven't gotten to the point because now I'm kind of also doing a sort of chronological hitting of like Cap Kingdom and now Cascade. So I'm trying to pace it that way. So eventually I'll get back to Bowser's and have to do all like the final moons there, and then hopefully in that sort of thing I'll find those final coins. But I mean, yeah, I was doing that chronological thing. Once I hit that, I kind of went to the moon and then was like, all right, I'll do these two kingdoms kind of together since it's taken so long to do
I mean,
Bowser
to be
and
fair, I did
uh
not like with the moon, for example. I have all the coins in the moon. Like I didn't just give up
yeah.
on that hunt. It's just yeah, with lunch and then with Bowser's Kingdom, I think are the two that I don't have. But yeah, I have all of them in the other ones. So for those of the co-pites out there that are like, man, Kaz just skipped over the whole game to beat it. Like, no, 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 no,
Yeah,
no.
well, I mean, yeah, if you're sticking around here at Spoilercast, I mean, you know that after that it's really just, Bowser and the Moon, so you're pretty close to the end in that
Yeah.
regard anyway. So it's like, yeah, it makes sense. Like I didn't make sure that I stuck around for the longest time, like with sand and what's the beach, the sandy beach one
Seaside.
called? Like yeah, Seaside. That one, the final ones, like a few of those kingdoms, I really spent like a couple days,
Yeah.
maybe, like searching for the final ones. But with Bowser's, I was like, all right, I like meticulously searched enough. I'm going to finish this, and then yeah, it's just been perfect with how much realizing then therefore like that I have about 55% maybe of the game completed. I keep hearing it's kind of funny. I was thinking right before we started recording, I was listening to NVC and I was listening to GameScoop earlier today, and one person said it's like there's 600 moons in the game to
Yeah.
collect. And then Justin's like there's over 600 moons that you can get in the game. And then I think it was like Damon's like so there's like 800 moons in the game.
Yeah, it's
And
999.
and
Yeah.
Pierre there was like there's over 900 moons that you can get in the game, and it's just like everybody keeps saying this different number
I think what
of
it
how many.
is I think it is around 600 that you can.
Yeah, well, because the achievement is for around 600, so it's like you would assume that that's about the. I think it's interesting that you could probably get. I mean, I haven't bought a set of 10 of those 10 power
Yeah.
moons or whatever, but I don't know if Toadette if that counts towards that
I'm not
achievement.
sure.
That's like you need
Yeah,
600
I
power
can go to
moons
her and
to
check and see what the
unlock that thing.
achievements are. I'm just running around the Mushroom Kingdom while we talk.
Yeah, do it. Go check out Toadette and see what she says, because I know that it was since I have only bought like one moon from each shop, which is kind of like the one of the ones that's just normal. I haven't bought a set, so it's just the same amount that I've actually earned towards the achievement. And I don't know if it'll show for you like all your sets because you spent a ridiculous
Yeah,
amount of money
4,000
on.
coins, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, I got an
What's really
achievement. I
nice.
got one. I just went and talked to her, and she's
Oh,
like,
nice.
"Hey, you got one for doing something." Oh wait, wait, I got another one. Man, she's pumped that I'm back. And
Yeah, it was crazy too. It was so cool when you get to the Mushroom Kingdom. It's like you look at the list of stars or moons to get. I kind of find it silly that they still call them moons when they're like shaped like
yeah.
stars. But
Well, even Cappy's like, "Oh, I
it's
guess
like
moons are just shaped differently here." And it's like, "No, that's not a
yeah,
moon anymore, Cappy. It's a star."
yeah,
Wait, can you not
yeah,
talk to? How do you
exactly.
talk to Toadette? She says, "I hope." Oh wait, no, you don't talk to her. You just look at your list in the Mushroom Kingdom.
Yeah, yeah. You look at the list and then it has a little like it'll have the stat
Yeah, it
there.
has like her little stamp. And so, what do you say? It was
Uh,
Power Moon Ruler? Is that the one that like you have to get
yeah, yeah,
600? Yeah, it says I have 516 out of 600, which would include the ones I bought there. So I
yeah.
mean, but
So
yeah, I bet that's just
I wonder if because I don't know if you can look through the list if there's one that's like actually for getting them all, but it'll surely it has the gold star or whatever like the coins, so you'll know. I hope that there's something
I
else
mean,
that kind of
there's
unlocks that kind of gives you
there's
that.
Flat Moon Fanatic, which you have to get Power Moons from 8-bit areas. There's treasure chest
Yeah.
fanatic, which I bet in order to get all the 8-bit ones or something, like to get the 20 out of 20, I bet there's 20 specifically like 8-bit, power moons, and so it's
Yeah.
probably with those, like, yeah, the taking notes power stars, the treasure chest power stars, the timer, or power moons, I guess. Like, I think with these
Yeah.
achievements specifically, those are the ones where it's like you can't buy those. You have to go out and get those ones done. I'm looking through here to see if there's any other, like, collect all of the, non-buyable power moons. But, I mean, there's...
Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter too much because I know that once I feel personally finished with the game, it's when I'll have every coin, every power moon that I can get when the Odyssey's not even registering power moons anymore. When just everything, when every costume that I've purchased is in the inventory, because I'm still unlocking those as I get power moons. When just when I've completed every challenge that the game has that presents itself, and everything's unlocked and complete, that's when the game will be done for me. So I think it's a pretty tangible. I just hope, like most of the Mario games, at the very end, there's at least, like, I think Sunshine, I never actually 100% of the game, but I've seen a few people's like screenshots where it will show like every star on a big one screen together, or like in 3D World, or for instance, it like everything turns with the gold flags,
Yeah.
and it kind of shows on the home screen. So if there's some like special screen that unlocks, or just some sticker that's special on the Odyssey, or the way the Odyssey glows differently, that you can kind of just screen capture one sort of thing, that would
Yeah,
be
like
nice.
basically like
It's
screen
not super
capping your platinum
necessary, but
trophy almost, like,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
But
exactly.
I'm trying to figure out. Yeah, I'm getting a little distracted because I'm just wandering around the Mushroom Kingdom. But yeah, so we can talk about that a little bit. I mean, it's so tricky to do a spoiler cast with this game and talk about it, because it's like, do we go back and just start like, oh, what did we think of Cascade? What did we think of Sand Kingdom? What did we think of like,
Right.
we can go through and do a spoiler cast that way, or we can just talk about the end game, or I mean, like,
We're just kind of all
yeah,
over the
there's like
place.
really, I mean, it probably
Yeah.
would have maybe behooved us to have a little bit of a structure as far as how we want to talk about the spoilers. But I mean, I think we've done good so far of just like whatever comes to our head. Yeah, like, the sheer amount of content, I guess. Like, it's one of those things that we had heard from
Yeah.
people with the review copies and all of that, of like, guys, I don't think anyone understands how big the post game is. Like, the post game is huge. It's ginormous, and if you think it's big, probably imagine bigger. And if you think that's big, like, go bigger, like, because it really is. For those people that maybe don't know yet, maybe you're listening to this and you haven't beat the game, or you're just now getting to the post game and all of that, but it essentially, I think, like, I would quantify it almost as if it's a sequel in itself. Like, there's new captures, there's new activities, there's tons of new moons, there's incentive to go back to certain areas. Like, it's almost as if you're the Majora's Mask of Mario Odyssey, where it's all the same assets, all the same stuff, the same worlds, but you're just going back through, and there's a whole new, almost like, not story, I guess, to play, but just almost an entirely new campaign again of, pursuing Peach, like finding her again, going back, and on her travels, and getting new power moons so you can level up your Odyssey. Like, it's just like it's a Mario Odyssey 1.5
Yeah.
as far as adventures go. And I mean, and
Definitely.
I'm still discovering things that I didn't know were available in the post game right away, and I'm sure I'm going to discover even more. And there could be more as I get more moons unlocked and different outfits. One thing I'm a little bit disappointed with, and it's just, I guess, me being a super fan, it's kind of weird how they did this, but it makes sense, is a lot of the outfits so far, actually I think almost all of the outfits so far that have unlocked post-game have been just the amiibo outfits. And so that's been a little bit of a bummer. And I had...
I don't think that it has been for me.
Okay.
Hey, what? I guess it's hard to tell because you bought so many sets, but I guess it doesn't matter because it unlocks probably at the same shop, and you have more than me, so
Maybe.
you should have the same amount or more unlocked. But I thought that I unlocked some
like,
weird, like, what did I just unlock? It was the it's like kind of colonial looking, like a dress sort of thing.
Colonial,
Um,
like a dress.
that I guess here I can hop in real quick. We got a little dead air.
Yeah,
But I
you
was
can maybe
also
say
gonna
the
say
name
we
of it
need
or
to
something.
yeah, well I was also gonna say we need to bring up that conversation about Nintendo, with the massive end game or post game content and the way that they've been approaching this year, like their games recently. You think of Breath of the Wild and how the Korok seeds and the amount of shrines that I still have to go and complete in that game, and then Splatoon 2, to have so much in terms of the league and the salmon run and single player, and then just playing co-op with your friends, or whatever it is in that game, and then Mario Kart where it's just endless. These games that they keep putting out just seem to go on, and this game is kind of the same way where I think that Nintendo's being really smart in how they're approaching their games lately in making it so it's not, a week or two that the people are kind of then done and setting it on or moving on to a different game. These games, people continue to come back to them. And then by the time, they're still not finished with a game, a new game is out. And Nintendo's almost one-upping
Yeah, well,
themselves,
they were saying
or,
that on Nintendo Voice Chat.
doing,
That's like, wait a second, Fire Emblem
yeah.
Warriors came
Yeah,
out, and
they
it's
said
like no one's had time to play Fire Emblem Warriors because everyone's just been busy.
right. Yeah, they were saying. I think that was the game that they were talking about how Nintendo kind of is you know throwing shade on some of their own games in spite of some other games that are coming out. And I think they have a really good pace that's with some of these, like where Odyssey, in a couple months or so, people will still be playing it. They won't have finished. It's kind of like Breath of the Wild where I had to move on because I was too I slacked too much with that one, and I still haven't finished it.
Yeah,
But it's like so many of these games that the pace that they have, it's still something to come
yeah,
back to. Like even with Breath of the Wild, even if you finished it, there's still DLC coming out soon, so that there's reason to come back. And it's like, it's just these games are massive. What Nintendo's been putting out recently has been just super, super
yeah.
packed. And when you think of like Xenoblade coming out, and then you think of Metroid's coming out, and Pokemon, and the types of games that are still, that are just really
Yeah,
massive.
I mean, and
Like
yeah,
it's pretty insane
yeah,
to think.
and they had that quote a long time ago. I think around the time where PlayStation, Xbox are going at each other because PlayStation allowed you to share games, Xbox didn't, and there was the whole like question of what's your used game policy. And Nintendo was like, our used game policy is that no one wants to sell our games, like they're throwing shade almost like along the lines of like, you know, our used game policy is that we're hoping we don't even have to worry about people sharing used games. That it's just, you know, you hold on to our Nintendo games, and like it's been pretty true for them. Like you don't see many used Nintendo games around, and so
Hmm.
it makes me think, like that's just their policy with the Switch, and like, not only going digital, but they're hoping that people just never like are always kind of like, I don't want to sell my, Odyssey game because there are a few moons I
Yeah.
want to go out and get, and just kind of
Well,
artificially almost
oh, no.
sometimes making, you know, more incentive to stick around, even if it's just like you could always buy more moons though, or or something like.
Hmm. Well, I thought it was when I finally went through and played the Lost levels. Like this goes back all the way to the 80s for Nintendo, really, in terms of I mean, you think of like Super Mario World, and it had, the whole post-game content of the Star Road or
Yeah,
whatever it was. Yeah, where and it kind of you expect it now with Mario Odyssey. It wasn't even like really a surprise. It was like, please, have the same tradition of, with 3D World. It was absolutely insane. The post game, I still, I think, have like one level to finish in that. I did the Champions Road, but there's like a final Toad's house or something that I still haven't gotten
oh
all
yeah,
the
yeah.
coins in and everything. And so it's like, there's still reason to come back to those. They pack it with so much content. I think we've been saying it for years that Mario games basically once you beat the game, that's when the game
Yeah,
starts, and it will have like five more worlds afterwards, and they're all like the actual challenge, and so they take even longer than the main game did, and so that's what I mean. I was kind of thinking about that too, about how at certain points I was getting a little bit almost scared about Odyssey's, overall length and challenge, like a couple of times, or skeptical, or just like hoping and like not trying to get my hopes up too high. And it's kind of hard to explain, but like just kind of how as I was making my way from kingdom to kingdom, wondering like, is this really that packed? Have I been oversold by some
Yeah.
people's, saying how impressive it is? And I think it was almost good to do that, because then it's like I just keep getting more blown away, and I just can't believe, how massive it really is, and I'm almost
Well, I mean, when you go
like
back,
going to end up.
so one of the first things that
But
happens, and I feel like it's weird that I'm describing this as if like hopefully people have experienced this, but just to refresh you, like when you beat the game, you oh wait, here someone's calling me. Gotta hang up on him, I guess. Okay. When you first beat the game, one of the ending scenes of the game is that you're on the moon, you're with Bowser. All the moon kind of starts to explode because of all the energy between you and Bowser. I don't really know what the plot narrative is there. But just everything's going crazy, everything explodes, and it causes these things called moonstones or moon rocks to crack all over the world. And so if you had seen a rock around the game, you probably knew like post game that's going to amount to something. Personally, I thought it was going to be like, for every moon rock in every level, there was one extra power moon, or like where that rock was. Like the rock would break and there'd be like a pipe that would be revealed, or a hole, or a painting, or something that you could go into. But you go back, and you like Cap Kingdom, for example, you go back, you float out to the little island out there, you break the moon rock, and not only does the rock break open and reveal like, power moons, but I mean, there are power moons scattered all over the map, and tough to reach areas that require you to be like the best platformer, that require you to go out and search, and like they do put them on the map to make that a little bit easy. You can kind of just do like a little checklist almost, but I mean, some of them like are still tricky. And then for
a couple of them I've noticed aren't even on the checklist like map. Like in the Cap Kingdom, I have a few that aren't showing up on that. I got Talkatu finally. I went to him for the final ones, but there's no like indication of where to go or what exactly to
huh.
do. It's like the one that since it's a spoiler cast, it's he's like, I don't know if do you have all the moons in Cap Kingdom? Is it okay if I say what this final one is?
Wait, what? Yeah, go for it, I guess.
Um, do you have all? Do you know if you have
I don't
all
have all
the
the ones
moons
in
in Cap
Cap
Kingdom?
Kingdom, but I mean,
Okay. How many do you have in Cap
let me
Kingdom?
check. Let me check.
Because yeah, it's I was talking to him and he
I have
said
20 of
it's using
31.
your cap. You have 20 out of
Yeah,
31. Oh, okay. I have like 28 out of 31, so I just need
I
like
have like
a few
none of
left.
the moon rock ones, but I have almost all of
Oh,
the other ones.
yeah,
Because that was
yeah.
back in the
Well,
day
okay
when I
then.
was
You
still
probably
like,
let me know if you have this one then. It's using your cap, because it's pretty vague.
yeah,
Takatu is probably one of the best, like if you're going to use any
yeah,
hints in the game, he's definitely, we talked about it last episode, but he it's using your cap, kingdom artwork, or art using your cap, finding the artwork, kingdom artwork, something like that.
no, nothing.
Your cap.
Using your cap, Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, let me check my list, because by the way, the one costume was the Hakama costume. This traditional outfit has a non-traditional M monogram, and it's like some weird dress with
Yeah, it's like the
Mario's
Japanese
like
garb.
yeah, but what amiibo unlocks
It's
that?
you buy that
Because
in
that just
Bowser's
unlock.
Castle or Bowser's Dojo or whatever it would be called.
No, because the dojo you got the samurai outfit, and then you got the happy outfit,
That wasn't the thing.
which is the blue and red. The happy outfit's the blue and red, and the Hakama is this traditional outfit, has non-traditional M monogram, and it's like a dress
Hmm. I
thing. But I
I
don't
don't know where that's at. I don't know.
know.
I'm looking through. What was the outfit that you said that I needed to have? That apparently like was like a like colonial.
That's what I was talking about. The
All
Hakami
right,
or whatever.
let me go over to the
Uh,
store. Let me go over to Crazy Cap or whatever it's called and talk to Toad there. Or
yeah.
go to my closet actually. That'd probably be the best
But
spot to go check.
and the moon I'm talking about is number 17, found with Cap Kingdom art.
I don't know. I don't have any Cap Kingdom art.
Found with Cap Kingdom art.
I'm
What
wondering
the-
though, because there's artwork of the Cap Kingdom in Peach's castle, and there's things like that. I wonder if you need to look at that and consult that. So
Yeah.
you said Hamikara or something?
Yeah, Hakami, I think is what it was
Is that the name
called.
of the hat too? Hakami?
I don't think it came with a hat that I saw,
Hakami.
but I got it. It's called Hakama.
Oh, I have that.
This traditional outfit has a non-traditional M
Yeah, it
monogram.
looks all weird. Makes Mario look kind of big and fluffy and fat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't really like it much, but when you said that all the ones that it seems you unlock are amiibo ones, I was like, well, I unlocked that
okay,
one
yeah.
just the last
I
one.
probably just bought it
so-
without even thinking about
No.
it, like, because I just buy all of them. But,
And I know there's one that's coming up. I saw somebody on like Reddit that did a glitch, and they were in the Wooded Kingdom, and they were wearing some like really spiky hairdo. It looked almost like Kirby when he gets the flames or something like that.
scientist visor. If you wear and you get that in the Wooded Kingdom, but the visor itself doesn't have the spiky hair, but it's kind of like the caveman outfit. When you wear the caveman outfit, like the actual hat's just the Koopa skull, but when you put the caveman outfit on, like it adds the beard and the hair and all that. The scientist visor is the same way, where if you put like I never wore the scientist visor, but if you put it on, it adds the hair. So I think Andre Seegers tweeted that out, like a picture of it, where he was wearing that, and I was like, dang it, he's spoiling outfits. And I realized, oh wait, I have that outfit already. Never mind, I can't be mad at Andre. So, but yeah, a few outfits are like that I've noticed. Or the Luncheon Kingdom, there's the clown outfit, and like, you know, the hat's just a party hat, but when you put it on, it actually adds the full on clown hair. So
yeah,
that's just the one like that. But I mean, it could be. But I mean, yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned the Haminkara or whatever, or the Ahamkara or whatever it is. Because yeah, that's not an amiibo one.
Yeah, the Hakuma.
But it sucks because like the past few I've unlocked have been like the Bowser and Princess Peach amiibo outfits, and I'm like, dang it, like those aren't new for me because I already have them. The nice thing is that it saved me like 5,000 gold coins, so I can work on getting the skeleton one. But it was just a little disappointing. But it's also like, you know, it's nice of them to do that because I would be really like if I, you know, couldn't afford the amiibo or didn't have the budget for the amiibo or just wasn't an amiibo guy, it would be a real bummer that I couldn't have the amiibo outfits, you know. But it was really cool that I played all of the Wooded Kingdom with the Diddy Kong outfit as a monkey in the jungle because I was able to scan in that amiibo before I, you know, beat the game, which was really nice. So I appreciated the way they incorporated amiibo there. But yeah, no, I mean, gosh, we're 27 minutes and I feel like we've said two things, you know. But that's just the nature of the game, and I don't think anyone that's listening, you know, that just wants to listen to us talk about Mario is gonna be too disappointed in that. But no, I think it's just, you know, it's super nostalgic that they added the Mushroom Kingdom in. Like, you know, it's one of those things I don't know if it'll be lost on some people, but I seriously got teary-eyed when I unlocked it when I got a glimpse of it in the Luncheon Kingdom because, you know, we spent so much time here. Like, I think you and I would both, like, just wander around Peach's castle sometimes, like, just role play inside as a Mario, like, and, you know, would be so hyped when there was any sort of reference to it, or like even on like the beginning of the Mario Galaxy games, like when you're running up to Peach's castle, it's like, are we gonna be able to go inside? And when there's that level in Mario Kart where you can drive through the castle, it's just like such an iconic place and a nostalgic place to visit.
Yeah. Well, what's hard to grasp is just, you know, how that it really was probably the first 3D world space that we wandered around in and were able to kind of explore. Like before that, it was all SNES and NES, and you had to have a computer that was super powerful enough to maybe play some 3D games or have a system that was just like ridiculously, you know, ahead of its time, something that was experimental and, you know, super, you know, but for the home line of systems like Genesis and Nintendo, if you were just a normal person, you have that. And the N64 was like coming out with Super Mario 64 was, you know, 3D before that was so much different, more isometric, and they didn't know how to handle it. with the 3D of Mario, the exploration and the control and everything just made it. And so to bring that, reference it, just it's like Mario is the king of platformers, and what they've done, Nintendo, to revolutionize video games and bring it into 3D, and what they did even to in bringing platformers in 2D into something that actually was something beyond like Pitfall and stuff.
Mm.
It's like to have it all put into perspective a bit with the ending of the game. I feel like that's what kind of, when you hear all the reviewers talk about how the ending surprised them, and what it's like, what was so charming about it was that revisiting Mushroom
Mm-hmm.
Kingdom again. And it makes so much sense. We were kind of talking about like, why wouldn't they revisit the Mushroom
Well, even
Kingdom? That's
then,
the
like we and
whole
we
universe
talked
of
about it on
Mario.
Facebook too, and that's probably one of the other reasons. Like we're just all over the place because we just had to talk on Facebook as well off air. Like the moment you beat the game, we're talking
Yeah.
about everything. So maybe we can revisit some of those topics that we already discussed there. But that was one of the other things that we had talked last week on last week's episode before we beat the game. Like, oh, I wonder if they're gonna go to Mushroom Kingdom. Like that's probably why they called them kingdoms. Like obviously they're gonna go to Mushroom Kingdom, but the question was like, what's that look like? Like I personally thought it was gonna be like some green hills, the kind of, what do they look like? The big kind of, hills that come up with the eyeballs that you would expect, and, maybe some kind of slanted areas, and it's just all green, and there's the blocks, and it looks almost like World 1-1, and there's the bombs and all that, like, everywhere, like,
Right.
something like
Right.
that, where it's like, this is the Mushroom Kingdom, and this is what you'd expect out of, like, a generic 3D Mario exploration area. But for it to be freaking Peach's Castle, and it's Peach's Castle, and you can go inside, and it's the green lawn that you expected from Peach's Castle, like that, that road that you go up on, and there's the moat around it, and there's the roof, and I'm trying to figure out how to hop up on the roof. Like, I want to get up there. I know there's secrets up there. There's just gotta be. And so I'm trying to figure out how to get
Yeah.
up there. That's actually what I've been doing the entire podcast so far. So if you hear me clicking and clacking, I actually hopped up. I hopped
Well,
up
and
on one of the scooters, and I had to stop. I had to get off the scooter because the scooter was like, vroom. Like I don't know if I can hold up the mic here, and if you get on it and like accelerate, like I don't know, it kind of revs up
well, and
the
I
engine. I don't know
also,
if you can hear that actually in the microphone.
yeah, I heard a little
Yeah.
bit of that. But I love how that it's kind of also like back in, they were able to recreate some of that mystique, mystery of Yoshi, when when you have the tease of the Mushroom Kingdom even to begin with. There's this like this mystery and a longing to kind of find out more and to continue. And like you said, like once you even saw it, you were just like, all right, let's like get on with the
Yeah.
adventure. Like to have that kind of feeling come over you, and to want to just like get to the end of a game. You don't get, I don't know of how many games that you actually get that
Mm-hmm.
feeling. It's something that's able to create. And so, yeah, it's just,
Yeah, like
I don't know.
it was one of those
It's really
things where like,
nice.
yeah, I wanted to experience it before it was spoiled for me. I wanted to just really, yeah, I wanted to go in the castle. Like that was just, it was such a tease when they have that in the Luncheon Kingdom. Like I gotta go inside, I gotta get there, I just gotta experience it. I don't care if it spoils or soils the current experience of Bowser's Castle, which I still certainly enjoyed. And as I mentioned, I took time to smell the roses like on the moon and get all of the coins, because you can plow, like they make the coins easier there, but you can just plow straight to Bowser if you want. Like you have to kind of stop and think to get the coins. And so I did do all of
Mm.
that, but yeah, it was like once I saw the Mushroom Kingdom and Peach's Castle, it was just, yeah, I could not wait to explore it. Like, and even now, like,
Yeah.
I'm kind of bummed, like, because it's not, I mean, it is a pretty sizable kingdom, but it's not the Sand Kingdom. It's not New Donk City, where it's like super large in scale. I'm already noticing as I peter around, though, it's packed with secrets that will be fun to explore, but it's almost a bummer that it's not infinite. Like I just want, like we were talking off air. I wanted just to walk in and have it freaking be filled with paintings where it's like, now you've
Yeah.
unlocked, the post game, and it's Bomb Battlefield, and,
I wanted the
the
same thing too.
TikTok
I
clock.
like, I mean, when you walk in the door, your eye like instantly darts to the
Yeah, yeah,
left
yeah.
to, it's like, and before anything else happens. But then you look at the floor and you're like, yeah,
The
that's
first
so
thing I actually
awesome.
did,
But
I started to the left to see, like, okay, are they going to include all this? My first thought was, my first thought was, how do I switch the camera angle to first person so I can look up at the ceiling and unlock the secret level? You know, like I wanted to unlock whatever it is if you look up in the sky and like fly in the air or whatever. But you know, maybe there still is a way. Maybe
Well,
if
and
I go into photo mode.
I was also gonna mention that I love how they do the hints like 64, like of Yoshi, like Yoshi's not around, but there's Yoshi's favorite food, and is Yoshi, gonna pop? I haven't found Yoshi yet, so
yeah, I don't know, man. He could be somewhere.
yeah,
There's
maybe.
Yoshi's favorite food.
But,
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume Yoshi's gotta be in there because what I've heard from a few things is like, Luigi's basically left out. I love the unlocking like the Luigi costume where it's like Ella's the winner. But yeah, you can just kind of see his food floating around, so you would assume. I mean, you're gonna have Yoshi, but I love the way that they tease it out like that. It's such a like an amazing way when you first come across it. It's like it makes you like, ooh, like that's so awesome. And so many times they had just little things in the game just sprinkled everywhere. Like also really cool, like I mentioned to you, you had no idea. Like when you get to the Mushroom Kingdom, make sure you talk to the toad that has he's rocking out. It'll give you the music list, and then you can listen to any song from the soundtrack in any kingdom or anywhere you're at any time. And like really it's awesome. I was in the Cap Kingdom rocking out to the main theme, like the big band playing the Super Mario theme, and then it could switch to any other song I wanted. And it really set a better vibe, I felt like, because sometimes the Cap Kingdom theme song is just almost Luigi's Mansion like, where it's just kind of eerie, almost Halloween-y. And you can like
Nightmare Before
just turn
Christmas,
on some jamming some jamming rocking tunes, and like we're gonna go moon hunting and stuff like that, and you can do that in any place in any kingdom, and it's really awesome. So and because like if you have some of those favorite themes, like I love that Cascade, the kind of like the promo theme for the whole game and stuff. You can just turn that on in any kingdom you want, or even the Wooded Kingdoms theme is one of my favorites too. It's just like the soundtrack is so amazing, and that's a really cool little feature. But yeah, just to have achievements, that was so amazing. Such a good surprise.
They have achievements. They have more moons. One thing I do want to touch on, you gotta. Yoshi's favorite food is everywhere. I wonder where he could be. But and that's one thing I've discovered too is like, there's more secrets even beyond like moons and stuff. Like I don't know if you went back to Cascade, right? And I think you would even notice in the Cap Kingdom, but like the Koopa guy, the Koopa racer, where from the good old days where you'd race Koopa like to the top of the hill, like it's not him because he's not 3 times your height, but it's the essence of him, probably like his great grandson or whatever. And like they added races to the kingdoms where you can go and race Koopa. And I don't know if you've done one yet, but like, then if you beat the race, there's a master race, which is super hard to do, like to beat him in gold. And there's already
it's awesome.
The cool thing with that is because of that, there's a leaderboard now, basically for speed running these levels. And so some people are running from the basically from the Odyssey to the tip top of the level like in 15 seconds because they're doing these insane, like you throw your cap, you jump on the cap, you throw the cap up again, you jump, you do a wall jump, like ho 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 ho. Like it's just like going crazy. And so people are already discovering that. It's like they added that to each level. They added.
Yeah, but that's like having the Sonic Mania speedrunning leaderboards in a grand, big 3D open world exploration adventure game. Like it's so amazing, and with his mobility and control of Odyssey, and it's like Sonic Mania may be the best speed running platformer at the moment for like the 2D genre, and this might be the best one platformer for the 3D space. It's like that same thing is such a huge incentive, and I think it's absolutely insane what people are posting, like the GIFs and it's especially helps benefited by the capture mechanic that everybody can share with each other what they're
because
what
it
they're
shares
doing,
the past
their little
30
tricks
seconds.
and stuff.
Like if you, most of these little speed runs, like or the the Koopa races, if it's worth sharing, you probably have beat it in under 30 seconds. So yeah, you just capture that and share it with people, and yeah, it's just incredible. And there's some moons now that I've already been trying to get that you have to be like a top-notch parkour. You can't mess up. Like if you miss the jump, if you do all that, like you die and have to start all over. And checkpoints aren't as gracious. Like just in some of these moon pipes and other areas and all that. So I mean, it's just an insane post game. One thing I do want to touch on, we've talked a lot about the post game. But even going back real quick just to the actual game, we kind of talked about up to New Donk City last time. But I don't know if you, and maybe we don't even have to dwell on that too much, but if you want to talk about a little bit, Seaside and the Snow Kingdom, there's that cute moment where you find the penguins from Super Mario 64 in the Snow Kingdom.
Yeah.
I thought Shiveria, or Shiveria or whatever, the little town in the Snow Kingdom had beautiful music. And honestly, it was one of those things that you and I both were kind of on the same page of like, all right, let's get to the Snow Kingdom so we can bust that out and move on to the real fun with Seaside. But the Shiveria place, going inside and being in that kind of warm but cold environment, kind of like almost like a Christmas holiday joy sort of thing, like everyone was all jolly, was really actually like a cool twist. They should have put that like on the main map screen because that would have made it more exciting. But also the music, like it kind of almost reminded me, got me a little nostalgic for like the old school Paper Mario games, because Paper Mario always had, like, even more so than the normal Mario games, had really diverse like exploration as far as like you're exploring new worlds, meeting new people, getting them in your party to do the RPG mechanics. Like this has kind of brought back some of that feeling. And then Seaside, Seaside Kingdom with the sparkly water and
little snail guys.
Yeah, like there was one star, I don't know if you did it, where it was like, if you can jump from the top of this tower to the floor, like then I'll be impressed. And you did it. He's like, the glory of your flight will forever be sheared into my eyes.
I mean, he's gotta like dig it out of his pocket, the little animations and stuff. It's like the animation work and the like. I don't know if you've seen the A+ Start, I think it's the channel. But he does these analysis of the evolution of the polygons through like Mario's progression from 64 to this. And it was really crazy from 64, like how little it was. And by the time you get to Galaxy 2 and stuff, the detail was absolutely mind-blowing. For just like all the different faces they had. And I would really love to see I wish they'd do a making of documentary for Odyssey. I would watch hours and hours of that, like just release a DVD of the whole thing and just show us, the whole process. Cause it's like, that's the kind of thing that would really intrigue me. Cause I'm really fascinated by the whole design process, what was it like making the levels? Just what was the whole thing?
Well, I'm really curious.
Was it a tough journey? Was there challenges?
Yeah, we talked about it. Like, I really, really wonder if they're like, okay, we need to have this game ready for the Switch. Let's make the base game, and then if we have any extra time, we'll put it in the post game. Like, I really wonder if that was kind of their mindset of it. Like, let's make the game first, and then we'll add post game later. And if that's why like the post game is harder because it's kind of just the developers having fun, and if it's why the post game is so big because they just like just had extra time maybe like with the way the Switch launched or something. Like it's just because the post game is insane. I'm going through my slideshow here of photos I've taken through the game, and the first thing Cappy says when you get to the Mushroom Kingdom is just what a beautiful place. Like he's just stunned. And like it's like that's the awesome thing about this game is they just know what would resonate with fans. And like to have that, like, I don't think there's any other place. I guess no, Cappy does make a comment like when you travel through each painting, he's like, "Whoa, where are we now?" But like with this one, he just stops and he's like, "Whoa, like this is cool, isn't it?" And yeah, so Luncheon Kingdom was pretty fun. People, I think that like a lot of people said the Luncheon Kingdom was their least favorite because it was so like polygonal and kind of choppy looking. I liked that. Yeah, I liked the colors of the Luncheon Kingdom were gorgeous. And I did like the little fork people and stuff, and it was
the fork people were adorable. I loved that design of them with the their hands and stuff and the little dances they were doing.
And yeah, awesome. And I did like the lava mechanics, like going through as the lava ball, like the fireball was pretty cool.
Yeah.
The Brutals, the bunny people, we kind of talked about them last week, but they were really fun villains, and they just never give up. Like they just keep fighting, well beyond like the requirement. Yeah, and so and they actually they were some pretty good challenge at times. Like obviously it's not like we're gonna be doing some Dark Souls sweating here, but they had enough of a little bit of like you had to really get your jumps right, and on the moon especially, I think it was where you fight them. Or some, I think it was
Bowser's
Castle.
Castle.
Something like that. Or no, I think, I don't know. I thought there was something. Where like you're fighting him and stuff, and like you really just you're fighting the robot and all that, like the giant mecha.
Oh, that might have been on the moon. I'm
not too sure.
Where was that?
I know there was something on the moon where. I think there was something on the moon where,
you refought the one lady.
Yeah, it's like you're going through or something, like trying to get back up to Bowser or whatever. And like it was just tricky because
I think he dropped, isn't that what happens because when you're going up to Bowser, you fight her, but then when he drops you through the floor is when you fight all the Brutals and the big
I think so. I know
robot.
There's just some part of it where it's like,
or maybe Bowser falls down with you.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. And then that's the final Bowser scene.
I don't know.
I just played it last night and I can't even.
Yeah, I just know that there was a specific thing where it's like you've played the game so long and you're getting used to Mario's jump, and then you're on the moon and you have to reacclimate yourself to like, okay, he takes a little bit longer to land now. He takes a little bit longer to fight back and get his bearings. And so that was really kind of cool, like how you've played the game for so long, so the moon makes it really tricky. There's the scene with Khaleesi Bowser, where he has his dragon, which seemed really out of place, but still fun. Like this very realistic evil dragon in the middle of Mario. I'm like, all right. So yeah, then you chase down Bowser. Bowser's castle was kind of a cool take that they didn't do a typical, castle, that it was like a samurai dojo sort of face-off place, like really embracing the Japanese culture. We have the Mario samurai outfit, which Miyamoto wore at Jimmy Fallon, which is kind of cool. We had that outfit that he was teasing all the way back then. He wore that, to the premiere of Super Mario Run, and we were all like, "What's up with the samurai outfit on Miyamoto?" And we didn't really know, but now we know that it was, I think it was on a calendar at one point, but I think he was probably more so foreshadowing this outfit. So, because it's basically the final outfit you wear to fight Bowser if you buy it for that. So then, the fight against Bowser, looking through some of this stuff, just kind of do some recap.
I really liked how at the end, with Peach, her whole, like, she wants to go revisit these places that Bowser basically took her while she was abducted, and it's like on her terms now, so she can really appreciate them and kind of take it in, not as a hostage.
And it's cute. Like I don't know where you've seen her yet. I think I've only seen her in the Cascade and Cap.
I've seen her in the Cascade.
But in Cascade,
because that's the only place I've been to.
She has like the cutest little safari outfit. Like she's all dressed for the occasion, Like it's really cool that she's not like just in her Princess Peach dress at all these places. That she's actually, like you said, enjoying it. And she got herself a Power Star for you, so she can share that with you. And she has a little tiara with her as well, so. They could almost make an entire DLC pack where you're just going through and playing as Peach with Tiara. Throw Tiara around.
Yeah, they need to make they need to revisit the whole Super Princess Peach and like maybe Princess Peach's Odyssey.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of controversy around that first one about like how it was her emotions, like when she's happy and sad, and like that's what she used to fight, and I just don't think it was very good. And they could actually redeem that with an actual, a good. They seem to be able to morph Peach, into something that's a good, feminine character that women could maybe look up to. Especially like I loved the ending scene, how she kind of like they were both Bowser, and then they were fighting. Yeah. And she was like, no. And then they were both kind of like, it's all right, brother. And I liked how they kind of got along, and it kind of fits into that whole like Mario Kart. Like, why are these guys racing together? It's almost like they always get in this little tough together. They're always having this little drama unfold, and then they all kind of get to be buds again for a little bit. And then all of a sudden Bowser's like, I kind of want to marry Peach again. And it's like, I'll kidnap her. And then it's just this, they're all good friends, like long time, like It goes back like forever. It's just really
Yeah.
cool. And I like, like with you being able to play as Bowser for a little bit, and Peach having some of the, like, finally some character progression with her, that there's a chance for maybe them to do like a solo Bowser
Yeah.
game where you play as Bowser through an adventure, or a solo Peach
Or I
game like
wonder
that.
too, like you capture
I mean, they
Bowser,
did
like
Toad,
maybe
so.
maybe he appears like in some other levels, like you know.
Well, remember how when 3D World came out and we had the Captain Toad levels, and everybody was like, "We gotta get a game that's Captain Toad."
Hmm.
I could imagine, what if in E3, like, everybody's like, we loved the capturing Bowser mechanics so much that they make a little game that's, not even, it's a $30 Switch game like Captain Toad kind of was, where it wasn't full
You're just
price,
tearing through
but
things,
it
like just
was.
plowing through, and you're
Yeah,
heavy.
and
And
they utilize that into more of a speed runny kind of thing, because things are like crashing
yeah,
down, or something like is happening, like Bowser made a mistake and his whole castle's like collapsing, or something
yeah,
like that. It could be really cool.
yeah. And
So
even looking, I didn't notice this. The wedding ring that he has for Peach, the the
oh, it's
dime.
huge.
Yeah, well, it's huge. Yeah, just it's like more of like a belt for her, I guess. It's even big for him.
It's like a flotation
Yeah, I don't know why
device.
he even
Like,
has it for himself. Like it's just too big. But I realized that the diamond is the upside down pyramid from the Sand Kingdom. Yeah,
oh really?
that's kind of cool because you get it from the Sand Kingdom. But yeah, everyone's at the wedding. Everyone that you meet in the game somehow managed to get to the moon to attend Bowser's wedding.
Yeah, and
It's like,
I loved how it's like, I don't know, after in the post game, you're all standing outside, and like nobody's wearing any sort of like helmet or anything. They're just all out, just walking on the
mm,
moon, breathing it in,
yeah. Oh,
just fine. But when you go inside, there's the little puppy, and he's wearing a little space astronaut helmet. Took a little picture next to him. Like, Mario's just fine breathing in the zero atmosphere, and the little puppy's got his little astronaut helmet on. So I don't know what exactly was going on there, how that fits,
yes, yeah. No, I
but
don't. Yeah.
whatever. It's Mario. I wasn't thinking too hard
Really
about it,
cool
I
that you could
guess.
go through the 2D pipes as Bowser and do classic Bowser running.
Oh yeah, that was super
I
cool.
don't know if I was
Yeah.
the biggest fan of the song at the end of the game that was like, yeah,
Oh, like the Sonic
yeah, like
styled
we're on the
almost.
moon and we're all happy. Like I don't know what the lyrics were. It's just like, all right, like that's fine.
It's time to smash up all the
Yeah, it was
bricks
like,
as
yeah, I did
Bowser.
not really appreciate that. Could have just done with like Odyssey. Let's see. Ba-doo-doo-doo. Yeah, then the ending
Yeah.
credits doing the classic. Here's everything that everywhere that you've been, and then yeah, then it ends with Cappy being like, all right, we've had so much fun. I don't want it to be over. Let's do a sequel right here, right now. Let's go. And then you get to the
Yeah.
achievements, which is where we started the podcast and talked about all of that. So yeah, we have all that discussion from basically New Donk City onwards, and yeah, no, I mean that's where we are now. Like I don't know if we'll have like a dedicated time to talk about the game, on the show again next week. I don't know exactly what we're gonna be talking about next week. We do have, maybe we can talk more about Destiny 2 because we never really had a dedicated show about that. We need to get back to
Yeah.
both of us to Fractured but Whole, and I mean
Yeah.
obviously keep playing Mario. Frozen Wilds, the DLC for Horizon, does come out this week, and I'd maybe like to talk about that. But you haven't played the original Horizon, so it'd be nice to play that. But then the week after that, for our episode 80, our big episode 80, we're going to be talking about Skyrim VR and experiencing finally this world in virtual reality. So that's kind of the roadmap for the weeks ahead. So this is kind of our spoiler cast closing discussion on Mario Odyssey. For now, we'll obviously be like
Yeah.
and the what we've been playing segments will always be for the next year. We'll be like, oh, got 2 more moons this week in Mario, and finally got
Hmm.
500 jump ropes in New Donk City. So
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it'll be more like, I did a couple more moons, but this game is just so freaking magical, and like this was one of my experiences.
yeah,
Like, I expect that it will be something that continues to amaze us and find little surprises. Because I kind of feel that way once I get back to
yeah,
Zelda eventually. Like, I'll probably have a little spot where we talk about it a little bit, and I'll be caught in wonder, and nobody else will really care. But I'll have to vent a little bit on my Zelda experience.
Yeah.
It's like it's just one of those things that's I kind of think that Mario Odyssey at this
I
point like will kind of turn to something like
I think
that.
Champions
But
Ballad will be a good time
um,
for you to hop back in whenever that comes out. Like
yeah,
that'll most likely add in new outfits. Well, we already know it's going to add in the Wind Waker outfit, so there's like going to be new incentives like that.
right.
And then yeah, probably I would just think at like a reimagining almost of all of the Divine Beasts. So probably a really good time to familiarize yourself with those things again. And yeah, you got to go beat Ganon. What are you thinking? Like you
I
haven't
know,
even seen Ganon.
I know.
And so
Zelda's waiting for me.
yeah,
Still.
so yeah, and this is gonna be one of those games that looking through. Let me check real quick. We can end out the show, I guess, with some of this because we do got to get going. But if I load it up, pause the game, or how do I view my list? I gotta view my list. I have in the Mushroom Kingdom, I have 38 of the 104 Power Moons, like insane. 20 of the 31 in the Cap Kingdom, 35 out of 40. I think in Cascade, but in Cascade I don't know. Oh, I do have the moon or the Moonstone unlocked there. But I mean Lake Kingdom I haven't gone to yet since I beat the game. And yeah, I haven't unlocked the power or the Moonstone there. And I have 23 out of the 33 moons there. So I mean I'm 20 short here, 20 short there. 2 short here, 7 short here, and that's without even going and unlocking the power rocks in all these kingdoms. So I mean, I have like literally the same amount of moons to grab now as I did throughout the whole campaign. And as we were talking about, I think off air, like they're harder than normal, so it's going to take even longer to get them. Like a lot of the moons when you first get to a place, it's like, climb to the top of this flagpole and you get yourself a moon. But all of those ones are done now. So now the ones remaining are the ones that are like, run across these 3 buildings and do 5 wall jumps and don't die. It's like those are the ones that I have left.
Yeah.
And I have hundreds of those. So yeah, it's going to be a game that it's perfect on the Switch. We always say that, but it's going to be perfect to, be in the car. So happy I have it digitally because it's just going to be one of those games that's just like, I'm on a long car ride. You know what? I'm just going to spend my whole car ride in the Cascade Kingdom collecting these final moons and beating my time with the Koopa races and, going around and messing around with photo mode. Like, if nothing else, the game is eternal because of the photo mode and finding different poses to do. What they really need to do is add a way to make it so you can just pose Mario, however you want. Like, change his facial expression at least.
Kind of like how Mario 64 is eternal because of the beginning little face mesher mode.
If nothing, well, that's like a Mario Party mini game, isn't it?
I still go in there like daily.
They need to make that an app like on the iPhone. Like that should be their next app on, after Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. Just the Mario face, just drag it around. Stretch it as much as you want.
Because it really sucks that I have to like go into my N64 and
blow in the cartridge.
Because that's what the killer app would be.
Yeah,
Nintendo.
Yeah, definitely. Well, with all that being said, if for some reason have not beat the game or have not even bought the game yet, and you listen to all of this, definitely go out and grab it. We cannot recommend it enough. And if you're nearing the end, enjoy the post game. Don't feel worried about getting to it because it's, there's tons more to do. So if you're like, I don't want to beat the game yet, go ahead, beat the game because there's so much more to do afterwards. And but also take your time. There's really no wrong way to play. Just don't use the amiibo.
Yeah.
We found out this past week that you can use your Bowser amiibo to scan. And I also found out that if you scan like other amiibo, when you're not at Uncle Amiibo, like if you just scan an amiibo like at any other time, it just automatically gives you an invincibility star. Which means there's some pretty tough spots, like where you have to, like, for example, run through lava. But if you just have the invincibility star, I would assume you could just run through the lava. And so it's just like...
I know, I keep hearing these fake gamers out there.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say any names, but there's a whole bunch of people that are just like, oh, yeah, go ahead, use I use as many times as I possibly can. I'm using those Bowser amiibos to find all the coins and just have it, like... hold my hand, and I'm using the assist mode and just like using the gold Goomba to make myself fly through the level, invincible. It's like, what on earth? Who are these Mario players? Have you ever played a Mario game in your life?
And here's the thing.
You disable that crap. You never hit the gold little brick that allows you to
when
get the
when that
raccoon
pops up, you
that
spit on its face and you say, I got this.
Not
Not
today. That's what we say to the god of invincibility.
Yeah, something like that. And so, but I guess if for whatever reason that enhances your enjoyment, like if it's there, they programmed it in. But
No,
look, you're
no,
doing yourself a
bro.
disservice. You're making you paid for this game. Why are you having it play it for you? Like you play the game, you search out for those
Yeah.
coins, and if you can't find,
And every time you do that, you're shortening the game's
yep,
life too. Like you got to realize, like that could be. I understand if maybe you've been searching for
yeah,
hours and
knowing about the
hours and
Bowser
hours
thing, I
for those
probably would have
final
done
two
that in New Donk
points.
City for those last 2 I needed of 100. I needed
Right.
2 more in
Yeah.
freaking New York City.
But even if you do that, there's still that whole thing. You have to take the chance. Like you could still find them yourself. Like I found them
Yeah.
myself. So, there's always that chance. You have to give up basically at that point. You have to stop searching because there is a way and you will find them if you just keep searching. And it will add length to the game. It depends on if that's something that I guess you get enjoyment out of. I mean, it's like I guess there is but I feel like if you do play it that way and then you're boasting like, oh, I beat Odyssey, like I've got everything and I'm a really great gamer because I did all that, and you used like if you beat 200cc and you were using the bumpers on the side of the cart, and all that, and you're posting on Facebook like, wow, look at the times and how perfect I was on 200cc. I feel like that's a little bit cheap. It's like you're using like you use auto steer and you didn't even hold the controller at all because it's just like the AI did everything for you.
That's wrong.
That's not you beating
It's
the
wrong.
game. If that's the only possible way that you can play because you have some like sort of condition and it's like you just like that made it, then I'll be impressed. It's like, okay, you had to like,
Yeah.
but if you're just a normal person that like, and I say normal in terms of like you have no affliction, not in terms of anything's
Yeah,
better
no,
about
definitely.
you than someone with an affliction, but and you're still using stuff that's like supposed to assist somebody that actually needs it. It's like, what?
What?
You're not Mario.
Let's just say this.
You're not Mario.
I played, and I'm pretty sure I got. Oh, I know for a fact I did significant portions of Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, and Super Mario 64 back in the day, and GoldenEye, 007 GoldenEye. I played those games and was very efficient with the N64 controller and one broken arm. That's right. Back when I was a wee little lad, kindergarten, 2000. I mean, I would have been 7 years old. I had a broken arm. I was playing N64 games with the Trident controller that people say you need a third hand to play with. I was doing it with one hand, and I was poning people with my GoldenEye guns. Yeah.
Boom.
If I can do that, you can play Mario Odyssey without
any hands.
Without any hands. Well, actually, you probably could with the Joy-Cons. Just swing them around your neck. Like tie them to your neck and just whip your head back and forth. And Mario probably would start running and jumping.
I mean, all you have to do is just turn on the assist mode.
I don't even know what
just start scanning amiibo with your mouth.
What's the assist mode do?
I don't know. I haven't tried it at all, but just start.
Looks like it has like arrows that go like to where you need to go or something.
Handing you stars, and then once you get handed enough stars from all those amiibos, then you can beat the game and say that you're an amazing gamer.
They took our coins. All right, well, that concludes episode 78 of Koppai Podcast. We hope you guys enjoyed. We hope you guys enjoyed Mario. We'll have to have a separate talk later in the year as far as, maybe where it ranks in Game of the Year and where it ranks in our overall Mario rankings, both 3D and 2D. But I have to say, maybe it's early to say it. Maybe this is off the cuff. It would take some deep pondering and thinking, especially in the context of, Super Mario World, Super Mario 64, Super Mario Maker even. But I would not be surprised if this ended up being my favorite Mario ever. Like, it's perfect. It's great. Mm-hmm. It's the culmination of everything. It has 2D portions. It has the best 3D portions. It, pays tribute to 64 and honors 64 in a lot of ways. I guess I'm still bummed. Maybe it's coming. Maybe at 999 moons it comes up. But I'm waiting for my Delfino Plaza Kingdom. Like, where's Delfino? Where's my Galaxy Kingdom?
And
so I need.
And one of my probably biggest complaints, and just with how this is one of my biggest complaints with the game, shows how amazing the game is that there's not a traditional like start screen that has a file select, like to quickly launch into a new game and to just replay the main story like super fast, like World had it, 64 had it, Sunshine had it, Galaxy had it, all of them had it, where you could just quickly within a few minutes go and click a new file, delete a file if you wanted to, because that's what I want. I went to click a new game, and what it said was like, we'll create a new file for you, but you're gonna have to go into data management if you ever want to play your old file again and kind of switch the files around. It's like, what? Like, that should not be a thing in the 3D Mario games, like, or any Mario game for that matter. It's like you should be able to quickly get in, start a new file, especially for like speed runners that want to do it more traditionally and not just like the Koopa, runs. It's like, I want to be able to replay the story again without having to like go into a different account or have to do any trickery like that. Because it's like, I like to do that with Super Mario World. I like to do that with 64 and Sunshine and stuff. Actually beat the main story that doesn't take quite as long as, and to experience that cool, like the cutscenes and the boss fights again. While at the same time you're still trying to finish your main campaign and get all the moons in that one. You can unlimited amount of times play one of the 3 or 4 other save files that you have and just goof around or do whatever.
You just do that from the main menu, just make another profile.
But the thing is that when you do that, like if you want your time tracked and all that, it's like it doesn't fit into the same thing. So yeah, you can do that, but I don't want to do that. I just want you to give me a file select. Give me a file select.
With that being your one complaint, this game's amazing. And on that on that note, we'll talk to you guys next week. Maybe write in to let us know if you want us to talk about anything specifically. Otherwise, we'll pick some games to talk about. But until next time.